Hello, my biddies. How are you today? Come on up, lights. I'm good. Sorry I'm a little late. I did an update and it took up way more time than it should have. And then I had other issues too. So say hi in the chat. I obviously don't expect you to be here. I just remembered something I forgot to do because I'm running late now. Oh, what's new? What is new? There we go. I'm nothing but disorganized. I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached, so it's okay. I'm used to it. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I did, as usual. We went on a shopping spree on Saturday. Yeah, we spent like $200. Yeah, probably $250, $300. We bought a rug for the basement, a giant rug for the basement. I think it's bigger than what we were picturing in our minds because we can't picture things in our minds. So we're putting a movie theater type room in the basement. So it's been a time. We tore out everything in the room that hasn't been used for anything but the kids' gatherings. Should have done this a long time ago, to be honest. But we're gonna get a gigantic TV. And it's gonna be in the basement because there's only one window in that room, so we can close curtains. We bought the curtains and the curtain rod this weekend. We bought the rug, which is like theater themed, like old fashioned theater carpet type stuff. Got that bought finally. Been looking for one for like a year and a half, 2 years. What else did we get? We have more money now because we don't have kids at home anymore. We're not paying for their college anymore. So we have and my husband got a raise. So even though I'm not working, we have about the same or more income than we did before I quit last year. Year before last, technically, but it's last year. It's been less than a year and a half at this point maybe exactly a year and a half right now that I stopped working. So yeah, so we went on our shopping. Oh, we bought a fan. We bought a window fan. So that'll be nice to have that again. My husband isn't really an air conditioner type person, so we don't run the air conditioning a lot. It's going to be 80 today, and I doubt the air conditioning is going to come on. I have the windows open right now. This side of the house is cooler in the afternoon, or not as hot because the sunny side goes that way. In the morning, the sunny side's on this side. So it wakes you up really early. So I think we just need furniture down there for the furniture, TV, and a sound system. That's what's on the agenda for down there. And we've, like I said, it's been 2 years since we started this project. So we have been saving for it. So we have everything saved up that we need to do it. What else did we do Sunday? What did we do Sunday? We didn't do much Sunday. My husband decided it was too hot in here. We went out to lunch and he came home and went to sleep. And he slept all day. And then he slept all night. He had a headache. Sometimes the weather gives him a headache. So I worked on this part of Saturday. I couldn't work all of it on Saturday because he has to have his TV on when he's sleeping, and I can't use it to do this. After we have the other TV in, I can use, either whatever he's not watching. If he's going to sleep up here, I can go down in the basement. So that'll be nice. That'll be really nice that I won't have to live by his schedule. He's also talking about changing his schedule. So that might happen. Might be on here on weekends. So that'll be fun. Right now we have the grandkids on Monday, and he's been coming home early, but he still doesn't feel like he gets enough grandkid time, which he probably doesn't. So he might change his schedule to take Sunday and Monday off instead of Saturday and Sunday. And then he'll work on Saturday. And I will be here at least 3 days a week. Like I am now. Maybe 4 days a week. I might be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday, no, not Wednesday. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll take Wednesdays off because that's the damn late all the time anyway, because I'm doing grocery shopping and such. And so I'll reschedule my time a little, at least in the warmer parts of the year. In the winter, it's all up into the weather, whether I go grocery shopping, because I don't want to leave in a snowstorm. I don't like driving in the snow. Part of the reason I quit work was because I almost got creamed both ways, front and back. Could have easily gotten creamed one day. And I'm just like, and then another day, a truck, like literally 360'd in front of me and we were going 10 miles an hour. I swear, 10 miles an hour. And he still managed to 360 in front of me. Because the road I was driving on is never, ever, ever, ever salted, never. And we live in Michigan. You need to salt the roads. I gotta check something real quick. The last time I didn't have sound on here last week because the settings were wrong. So I gotta make sure that the update I just didn't reset my settings again. It's fast. Doing. Okay, it looks okay. Cross your fingers. Cross your fingers that it works. All right, I guess we'll start on when the kids were cute, as usual. The little one, you tell him to look nice, and he goes, "They're nice." So funny. He's so funny. They didn't eat the pizza I bought. I bought a special weird pizza from Aldi. It was Canadian bacon, real bacon, what I call real bacon, and sausage and barbecue. It was a barbecue. It was good. And onion, that's what I wouldn't eat it. I ate the chicken nuggets from lunch. The older one, BW. Oh wait, no, that's WB. WB ate one chicken nugget for lunch, so he was hungry. And my daughter came over yesterday, so she was here with them, which they love. They love their auntie. She helped me clean out a cabinet, so that I can't reach. So I can't reach lots of the cabinets. She says she wants to come and clean all the cabinets. Like they've all been cleaned except for that one. Trust me, they've all been cleaned. I'm hoping it does the trick. So she was here, and BW comes up from the basement and says he's hungry. He wants a snack. I said, well, we're eating in like 15 minutes. You can wait for dinner. I want a snack. She says, he's hungry. He's so hungry. I'm like, I know, he's hungry. He's eaten all day and he's still hungry. That kid eats more than anyone I know except my little sister. My little sister could pound it when she was a kid. Like so much so that they did tests. Yeah, he's gonna waste away. He might. He's awfully skinny now. And big news. No more diapers. No more diapers for either one of them. Clean. They said apparently he had gone all weekend without any accidents of either kind. So, and he didn't have an accident yesterday either. He was pretty proud of himself, and he should be. He had real underwear on. What a good boy. So I know my son and daughter are so happy that they don't have to buy diapers anymore. That'll pay for like half of their camper, uh, probably like half their camper payment right there. But he did it. He did it. He goes on potty by himself. He's such a big boy. My husband came home. I'm like, are you gonna say anything? I'm like, he's like, what? So unobservant sometimes. I said, somebody's got underwear on. He's like, oh my goodness, he does. Literally sitting on his lap. Didn't even notice. They said he's been 2 days. So that'll be great because we're gonna have to watch them for like an entire week coming up pretty much. Which is fine. I love it. Matter of fact, if you're on Finch, let me know. I'll try and I'm not there on another name, but I'll try and add you if you give me your deeds. I won't abuse it, I promise. I'll just add you. But my Finch thing, I was messing with it last weekend when we were at the camper, and I'm like, well, I have to do one thing that brings me joy every day. And I said, well, Monday, and I was telling her, I was like, most of the days it's the show. Weekends are a little trickier, so I have to find something. I said, and Mondays are watching the kids, and she's like, looks at me and goes, that brings you joy? I'm like, yes, of course it brings me joy. They're my grandchildren. I love them. So, I don't know. I think we're a family. Anyway, we have Reality Roundup today, and it is Welcome to Plathville. Excuse me. Season 8, Episode 4, That Dog Won't Hunt, which I don't know how they decide the names of these, because I don't even think that was said in the whole episode. So we go to the farm, and Ken sees a vehicle approaching. It's Barry. He's delivering oats for the animals. So Ken goes out to greet him. They awkwardly discuss where to put the one whole bag of oats that Barry has brought. Barry is super awkward, and Ken is not much better. But he tries to be casual and nonchalant, but it's Barry, so it's just awkward. Ken says he and Barry don't have a lot in common, but they get along. This Ken seems a little different from the Ken we met a few seasons ago. He's very quiet, very dry, very just stoic. And I don't remember him being quite like that when he first met Ken, but maybe I'm misremembering. But he seemed a little more upbeat then. They chit-chat for a while about how Ken's settling in, about Ethan, about Barry's dating life. Then Barry brings up juicing because he's on that health kick. Turns out Barry wants the juicer that he knows Kim has. So he has to borrow it. So they go find it, and Barry takes it home with him. Barry says the house looks very different and that it's cozy. And I think he means cluttered because he mentions how much stuff there is laying around. There is a lot of stuff laying around. Ken and Barry mess with Ken's jukebox for a few minutes. Barry says Ken is stoic, and he doesn't try to analyze him, which I guess is fair. They get the jukebox going, and Ken, very deadpan, tells Barry, I'm not going to dance with you. And I find this hilarious. I used to work with a guy that had a very dry, deadpan sense of humor like this. For instance, Barry doesn't get Ken, but I do. So my coworker, he was in his 60s at the time. I was in my probably 50s. So he was like 10, 12 years older than me. And he would say the funniest things, and nobody got it. So I have a very unusual name. They kept hiring people with very unusual, hard to pronounce names. So when they said the copyright, he goes, I don't understand. His name was Dave, by the way. I don't understand why they can't just hire normal people, normal names like Dave. So that's the deadpanest. And once, another time he was taking orders from his employees for the Christmas for our Christmas get together, and he was talking to one of the employees, and so the choices were steak, a chicken, chicken. I think it was roast chicken, steak, or salmon. So I just hear him, he's talking to the guy like a normal person, and then he all of a sudden he says, "I don't think it's a whole chicken." It's just like, oh my god. I don't think anybody thought it was a whole chicken, Dave. But he would just do that, and I found it hilarious. And he was very deadpan and very stoic, and like it was hard to get him to laugh. If I got him to smile, it was a good day. And I got him to laugh a couple times, so I was proud of myself those days. He was a good guy. He was a really nice guy. Okay, next we go to Ethan arriving at work, which is at Russell's Military Vehicles. And Ethan and Russell's son are buddies. Russell talks a lot, while Ethan says little. Russell essentially offers Ethan his business because he tested him. He did good. He's doing good. He shows up, whatever. Ethan turns it down because he's going after Tegan, which is a terrible mistake, Ethan. Terrible. He plans to go to Wisconsin despite the fact that he hasn't talked to her in some time. And he's not even arranged living arrangements or arrangements to like stay somewhere. This man, not a planner. Ethan is not a planner. Russell thinks Ethan's making a mistake and says that the offer will still stand if he wants it in the future. Next, we have Barry has a video chat with a matchmaker named Renee. Barry is so awkward that even when he's just talking to producers, it's so weird. He tells Renee that he wants a soft and sweet nurturer. He states he's done with alpha females like Kim. From what we've shown, it looked more like Kim was making the decisions. And a lot of people say that Kim wasn't, but that's only because Kim complained about it. He says he's put off by manipulative types, and he states he's into olive skin and the Sandra Bullock type for looks. Next, Kim and Isaac are out in the wooded area trying to push trees down. Kim can't push any trees down, so tiny little Alec just walks up and shoves it over. Like, Kim could have shoved that tree down. It was not. I mean, put some weight into it, Kim. You weigh like 3 times what your kid does. She's definitely not using her weight to her advantage, and it shows. She's worried that a tree is going to fall on her. Trees typically do not just fall down as you're walking through the woods. Usually take some sort of effort, like wind. She could just avoid windy days. But she has to go knock the trees down. They talk about Isaac breaking up with Kaylin, and he wants to unscrew what he screwed up. Kim said that she would now promote sex before marriage because if she could do it again. Kim making sense for once. What universe are we living in? Like, I am fully on board with try before you buy. Don't have to try every one in the lot, but you should try before you buy. We join Barry and the 3 youngest girls knitting, and he takes the opportunity to tell them about dating, and they're all for it. They list attributes they would like to see in a partner for their dad, which are all about them. Next, we go to Kim on her weight loss journey, and she's got a variety of things she's trying to do to lose weight and make better choices. She then says she used to juice, and celery and ginger was her favorite. So she goes to find the juicer, which is missing, of course. She asked Ben, and he says Barry took it. Very deadpan. So Barry took it, not Barry borrowed it. Barry took it. Barry was over here, and he took it. Not, he asked to borrow it, and I gave it to him. So, Ken, use your words better. She says, I have an issue with Barry then. Why does everything have to be an issue, Kim? Why can't it just be an error? And you can ask for your juicer back. And Barry did definitely say borrow when he took it. They stopped talking, and Ken stands around awkwardly until Kim tells him to go back to the living room. Like, it was so weird. Like it was a kid. Like, you can go back in the living room now. You're not in trouble anymore. was so weird. So weird. Then we join Ethan in his car as he arrives in Wisconsin. He plans to sleep in his car until January, and there was already snow on the ground, and I don't know when this was, but it was cold. And I don't think he knows. Well, he should. He lived in Minnesota. It's clearly cold, and there's snow on the ground, and we don't know the date. He parks there while talking to the producer, and Tegan has no idea that he's there. It's very stalkery. He talks to his mom, and she asks him if he's doing weird things like driving by her house in the middle of the night. She basically tells him, don't be weird. I'm sorry. We're past that already. Showing up in a town where you know no one except this one girl is weird. He is driving a yellow 1976 New Yorker, and the producer seems concerned that Tegan will recognize the car. And right at that moment, she literally passes him. And then he goes, that's Tegan. That's Tegan right there. And we don't know if she saw him or not because that's where the episode ends. So that is that. So what do you think? Is Ethan stalkery? Yes. Ethan's also abusive. Ethan has no mama learning, as my grandmother used to call it. Like, Kim failed him. Kim and Barry failed him terribly. He does not act like a normal person. Don't do that. It's creepy. Girls do not like it. It's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable doing crap like that. Don't do it, guys. Don't be stalkery. If a girl breaks up with you and tells you no, go on with your life. That was the choice that he made, was to not move to Wisconsin. So that was the choice that he made. And then she made her choice based on his choice. And her choice was bye, Ethan. And that should have been the end of it. All right, next we have entitled people from Reddit, and it is entitled Influencer Reality Check. Influencers tend to have a reputation of being entitled, don't they? Wanting freebies for nothing? Yes. Unless you count exposure as something of value. I don't know what that means. Before I continue, this isn't a brag, but important part of the story. I have a YouTube channel with a decent number of subscribers. It's a hobby, not my identity. I don't go about it in my daily life, and I think it's not changed from me being a normal person. Many people don't even know about it. Yeah, I have a lot of people that don't know about my channel. Even people I know. Some of them I don't want here. My husband and I also run a one-room bed and breakfast from our home. We live in a tall, along a tourist trail overlooking a beautiful beach. It's a nice place and often booked a year in advance in the high season. We charge high rates but work hard to give guests an amazing experience. Saturday was our first unbooked day this year so far, and we were looking forward to a small break. Saturday morning, I get a call. A lady introduces herself as an influencer and tells me that she and her partner were traveling through our area that day. They would be very happy to photograph our accommodation and make a video for their social media in return for a free night stay. No, absolutely not. I was friendly on the phone and asked her how many followed her on social media. She excitedly said 5,000 combined on TikTok and Insta. Oh my, that's like nothing. That's nothing. I said, oh, that's okay. I have about 115,000 followers on social media. I think we're good. Dead silence in a week. Oh, okay. And hang up. It felt so good. I've never had the desire to flex numbers before, but this was the perfect occasion for it. Oh, that's what we call a micro-influencer, I believe. I don't pretend to be an influencer at all because, I don't know. I don't need to influence you. I might, but I don't need to. It's not a need I have. I'm not in this for the money. So, top rated comment is from Muted Piccolo. And she says, that's the best response you could have given. Question. Could you actually hear her deflate on the phone? And Opie says, like a sad little balloon. Them Oren says, wait, people with less than 5,000 followers already have the disillusion they can barter their exposure for free stuff? That's beyond entitled. That's disconnected from reality. Exactly. It's crazy. Like, your measly 5,000 followers. I don't have 5,000 followers, But I'm also not trying to get free stuff from people, so. Cattleman says everyone thinks they can be the next big thing, but not everyone is pragmatic as one would hope. Bitter Leg says, I have significantly fewer followers than that, but I post about fairly niche subject, kimono and Japanese traditional arts. That sounds mildly interesting. Every so often, I will reach out to a vendor venue and ask if they mind me doing a feature on their product or whatever. This is how it's done. Not asking for free stuff, just making sure it's okay before I shell out my own money. Or in some cases, asking if they have a smaller size of a product available to me to buy, since this is an expensive hobby and I'm not rolling in cash. Every so often, they will offer me free stuff. I've been doing this nigh on 20 years and it still blows my mind. It makes me feel incredibly grateful every single time. I can't imagine the mindset where people think they just deserve this stuff, especially from independent creators or small business. Exactly. It's crazy. That's how you do it, though. You say, hey, I want to come to your place. Do you mind if I take some video, pictures, etc., and put it on my social media? Don't want to make you guys look bad or anything. But I will be honest also. Unless, it's a publicly held or large company. Like if it's a Hilton hotel, nobody cares. If it's my dad's campground, yeah, somebody, you should ask. Because it's a very small outfit. Next we have Murder by Words, and it's entitled, Well, That's a Quick Telling on Oneself. This is a good one. I like this one. It's O'Donnell and Trump. And O'Donnell says in the Shooter's Manifesto, he wrote that I'm no longer willing to permit, this was the guy that apparently was at the correspondence dinner, a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction? Trump. I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. I'm not that, and I didn't do that, and I'm not that. Excuse me, he is. He is. He's been adjudicated as this. He's been adjudicated as having done that. And there is enough evidence out there that he is definitely this, by his own words. Excuse me, you read that crap from a sick person. I was totally exonerated. You weren't. He was not. Not at all, actually. You should be ashamed of yourself reading that. You're a disgrace. O'Donnell says, oh, do you think he was referring to you? Oh, that's interesting. That's great. I wonder what he said after that, because it doesn't say. Next we have Arches I don't like to give Trump the time of day, so we're going to go on. Arches National Park, bad reviews. This is Joshua's mother. So, Josh, here's your mom. Better pay attention. From Ogden, Utah. Old folks visit Arches. My husband has heart failure and can't hike, but we had a great trip. The park offers a lot. You can see from the car short walks. Okay, so why do you give them a 1-star review if you had a great trip and the park offers you a lot? I'm confused. Are you confused? Because I'm confused. Next we have Traumatize Them Back, and it is entitled Boomer Commenting on My Bump. I had a miscarriage the first of the year. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's heartbreaking. I was 18 weeks. That's even worse. 18 weeks is pretty late for a miscarriage. It was my first ever pregnancy. I had to have a D&E to remove the fetus and was out of work for about a month, and I've been back to work for about 2 months. I work at a community facility for the 50 plus population, and many of them had caring things to say and asked how I've been feeling and recovering. Had a boomer lady come up to me this week and asked how I was feeling. I thought it was just a general question. Since recovering from my health issues, I said I was doing good. Then she said, oh, good, can I see your little bump? I responded, I actually miscarried at 18 weeks. She started stammering and apologized. I feel so bad. Well, thanks. What are you? Okay. I don't see how this is a Traumatize Them Back. And what bump? Weighing you, I'm 10 pounds below my pre-pregnancy weight and decently thin. Nowhere near a second trimester bump. Well, that's why she was wondering where your bump was. I was very sick with anemia from blood loss after surgery and the weight, lost the weight. What possesses these people to comment on other people's bodies? Oh, she said she can see the bump. Well, that could just be bloating, lady. Never mind. I take back what I said. I feel like could have traumatized her worse, but I chickened out. I have a necklace locket that has my baby's footprints on it. They are actual size. Oh my, that is teeny, 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 tiny. If I have another person comment on my lost pregnancy like that, I'm going all in and showing them the footprints I wear around my neck. Update. It seems my use of 50 plus and boomer has caught people's eyes. To clarify, this lady was not 50. She's late 60s, early 70. Did she say 50? Oh, she works in community for the 50 plus. Not that this lady was 50 plus. I was just trying to give background that I work in a community type facility that has regular attendance by the members. So for her to comment on my pregnancy 3 months after the fact, when I've seen her in the facility several times since, felt very ignorant on her part. Yeah, no kidding. I had a small bump before Christmas. Found out about the miscarriage between Christmas and New Year's and had surgery on January 2nd. Again, I've been back for 2 months and now 10 pounds under the weight I was before. Update 2. It seems many of you are concerned about dementia. I alluded to it without saying or outright. I work at a community center with senior citizens. I know what dementia looks like, who has it. She's not one of the regular fitness class attendees. She's one of the fitness class attendees and often comes with her mother, who legitimately has dementia. If someone with dementia made the comment, I would not have made this post. It has been 3 months since I had a bump. Let alone this point, I would have been like 6 months, definitely big, and I'm only 5'3". That doesn't mean much. People carry in different ways. I got pregnant all over, and so did my poor knees. Other people just, even when they're short, they carry right up front. My other niece is 5 foot. I think she's the same height I am. She just looked like she had a little bowling ball in there. I never looked like I had a little bowling ball in there. I'll tell you that for sure. When I first got back to work, there were several people still congratulating me. I shook my head no and did the hands off or cut across my neck for stop and smiled sadly, and people got the idea. I didn't post about these interactions because at that point in time, it was an honest mistake, not ignorance. Bopper is a top rated comment, and she says, and that's why we don't comment on other people's bodies. This is I Miss Thor says this is a great reply when they start stammering and saying they didn't know. Depends on the context. People can make mistakes. I do it. There have been times where I've had to backtrack what I said because it wasn't nice. Sometimes things just come out of my mouth without me thinking. Usually don't mean anything by it, or especially how it's taken. People are looking to get offended sometimes too. I think it was one time that it was genuinely like, yeah, I can see where you're offended. Otherwise it's like, well, that's not what I meant. Useful language. That necklace sounds like just a precious, heartbreaking keepsake. I'm sorry for your loss, and I hope you generally meet with compassion and kindness. Next, we have What Should I Do? And it is entitled, I Just Made a Terrible Mistake. Okay. So there's an empty bowl of ramen. That's before October 9th, 2019. You're fine. It says best before. I'm house sitting for someone, and I was told I could help myself to anything in the cabinets or refrigerator. Just ate these without checking the date first. They are ancient. What should I do? Nothing. You'll be fine. Chances are you'll be fine. That's all dry stuff. It lasts forever. Best by does not mean eat by. It just means that a little flavor might be lost. Slimmer says there are so many preservatives in there. It's fine. Oh, apparently preservative means condoms in some places. Yeah, okay, we're speaking English though. Optimal Octo says nothing, you'll be all right. Game Jerk says nope, we just witnessed Noodle Man's origin story. Three Deputy says most stuff like this can be safely eaten quite literally decades posted after its expiration date. This wasn't even expiration date. No juggling ever says plus the Best By and expiration dates are totally different. Best By just means, look, we can't guarantee it'll taste exactly the same how we intended to it after that amount of time. Exactly. My Little Polio says the only food in the U.S. that has actual expiration date is baby food. Everything else is marketing. Your nose, eyes, and taste buds are the only thing that'll tell you if things are truly expired. Exactly. If it looks bad, smells bad, don't eat it. That obviously seems perfectly fine. Sometimes the packets will, I mean, I'm not the best at eating everything in the house. Sometimes little packets will get hard. Don't eat those. I mean, it probably won't kill you if you do. My husband's eaten them. I refuse. And he's fine. He also has a stomach of steel because his mother never threw anything away. Also, never refrigerated a lot of stuff. I'm talking like jelly and stuff. And those people never get sick, I swear. We got neurovirus he never even threw up. That's how stomach of steel he is. Next, we have malicious compliance and is entitled, Grandma said to follow the recipe exactly, so I did. At my grandma's place sometime last year, she has those handwritten recipe cards that doesn't like changing anything. So I asked if I could adjust the salt a bit, and she goes, no, follow it exactly. Okay. Recipe said 1 tablespoon of salt. I measured that out properly. Honestly, it looked like a lot, but I didn't say anything. Put it in. The food comes out way too salty. Maybe it's a teaspoon. She takes a bite and kind of pauses and looks at the card again, and then at me. I said, I just followed it. She says, well, you're supposed to use your head too. Really? Next time she told me to just do it by taste. Honestly, there's too much salt in a lot of things, so you can reduce salt. And if you need to reduce the salt a lot, use MSG. No, it will not give you migraines. This has been studied. I mean, it might if you're sensitive to it, but most people will not hurt. Pranker Joker says it sounds like Grandma was a bit salty. Fake Russian accent answers, at least she gave a measured response. That was good. Real Ultimate Papo says, use your head. Oh, like you told me, like when I told you it was wrong in the first place. Leanna answers, nods in approval. My own Oma, which is some people use for grandma, was also salty, pun not intended. That I was so disrespectful, but sorry you don't get respect for being old and wrong. Exactly. Not that shouldn't even count as disrespect, but some older people really think not putting up with their crap is exactly that. Their problem, not mine. Can only hope that once I get dusty and rusty, I won't become like her. Exactly. And you won't because you're aware of it. Respect is earned. You don't get to be respected just because you're of the older generation or an older person. Respect is earned, especially after you've lost it. You have to earn it back. Should we give respect to certain people in authority? Yes, of course, until they do something that proves that they don't deserve respect. President. Kenda says, I have a ton of handwritten recipes for my grandma that we'll probably never be able to use because A, I'm a terrible cook baker, and B, half the recipe is missing or vague as heck. And she made it so often that she would basically just go off vibes. So now I have Cliff Notes versions of all her recipes. That's okay. Cliff Notes help. But if you aren't willing to learn to cook, which anybody can cook, but if you're not willing to learn, that's an issue. You can learn to cook, and then you can experiment until you get it right and write it down for the next person. Next, we have evil buildings. They said they had a better thing earlier. I don't know why they just didn't put them in the same like that. What is going on up here? Is that a angel heralding whatever in? It's very weird. I don't know where this is from. I mean, actually, pretty building. Electric Ray says, is that a cancel? OP says, design like a cancel. Google Maps view would give you better idea from above. Speculation on what it is. Okay, it's the Washington, D.C. Mormon Temple in Kensington, Maryland. So, I mean, it's just a Mormon thing. Surrendered worthy. Jesus appeared at any temple, he wouldn't enter it without confirming that he had paid tithing for at least a year. We didn't have tithing in our church. Did you have tithing in yours? We didn't do that. We might go after Missy next. Next we have AITAH. Is entitled AITAH for telling my dad's pregnant girlfriend that he already has 3 kids and I have kids I have nothing to do with, and her baby will be no different. I, 17 male, grew up with my mom. I only ever saw my dad one day a month, and that has not changed after all this time. That's really sad. Failure for this dad. Where are my red flags? This lady should not be having kids with this guy because he only sees his kid once a month. My dad dated a few women over the years, and he has 3 other kids out there. This guy's just a serial ejaculation machine. He needs to watch his ejaculation. He's a limit it. My mom was offered a chance for me to know them, but I wasn't interested, so mom said no thanks for me, and that was that. Those kids are raised by different guys their moms are married to, so dad pays no child support or anything for them, and he owes my mom a ton of money too, but she won't tell me the exact amount until I'm 18, which seems weird. I mean, he's already 17. What's a year? What's a few months? My dad has a new girlfriend, and now she's pregnant. She only knew about me, and every time I was at his house, she couldn't understand my lack of interest in her pregnancy and her baby. Because the 17-year-old boy is not interested in pregnancies or babies, even if they're related to them. She invited me baby shopping with her a few times. Why would you invite a 17-year-old boy baby shopping? That's weird. And she asked if I wanted to go see a special scan of the baby. No, he's not interested in that either. And it genuinely shocked her that I didn't accept the offer for any of it. I don't think a kid that was interested in having a sibling would want to go to these things. At least a boy. Maybe the girl would. It'd probably be good for the girl to go. But a 17-year-old boy is not interested. He got other things going on. You got his own girls to get pregnant. Don't do that. 17-year-olds should not be having babies. Ever. Neither should 18 or 19-year-olds. Or anyone younger than that, for sure. Last week, she asked me why I'm not gearing up to be a big brother, and she said she assumed I would have been happy to have a sibling after all this time. I told her this isn't the first kid my dad had with someone else, and I have nothing to do with those kids, and it won't be any different with her baby. I told her I consider myself an only child, and that is not changing because he knocks up women at random. Ooh, he's a little bitter. Deservedly so, but a little bit. She got very upset and wanted to believe I was lying, but I convinced her. Then she started to ask why I care so little. I could have a lifelong relationship with them all. She said it was so sad she started to cry. And then she wanted so much better for her baby. Well, she picked the wrong dad. I told her she picked the wrong guy. She did. She picked the wrong guy. This guy is not going to be with you very long. She locked herself in the room the rest of the night. I was there, and before I went home, my dad tried to get me to apologize, but I said no. His girlfriend texted my mom a few days ago, and she said she wanted an apology and to hear I'd actually tried to be a good brother for her child. My mom ignored the text, but I know the next time I go over there if they're still together. If they're still together, I'll be dealing with it again. Just don't go over there. You're 17. You don't have to. You don't have to go. You don't even have to have a relationship with your dad at this point. You're 17. He ain't paying child support. Why should you see him? Perfected Cookie says, she asked why I care so little because I could have a lifelong relationship with them all. So could their biological father, but he clearly thinks that's optional. Also, expecting a 17-year-old boy to get excited about a pregnancy. Has she ever met a teenage boy? Exactly. Retro Spun says, I was thinking the same thing, like what teenage boy would be interested in going to their dad's girlfriend's ultrasound? And Lolita says that going baby shopping and ultrasounds during the first day OP, during the 1 day a month OP is around. Yeah, no kidding. Loki and Goose says, NTA, currently pregnant girlfriend didn't know that your dad has several other children. Mute Marmot said, and for some reason she's focused on OP, not the fact that her boyfriend has several kids with different women and little or nothing. It's not quite clear to do with them. Yes, exactly. They're being raised by other men. Undoubtedly Stupid says, NTA, your dad sucks. You called it when you said he picked the wrong guy. She picked the wrong guy to have a baby with. It's responsibility is not. It's absolutely not your responsibility to form a relationship with any of his other offspring that he, for some reason, keeps popping out. Honestly, wouldn't blame you if you decide to go full no contact with him once you turn 18. Bunch of Numbers says, exactly, why should this 17-year-old have a relationship with these other kids when it sounds like their own dad doesn't? Exactly. Exactly, Mundley. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled, My Dad Has a New Neighbor from Hell. My dad has been having a fun walking a tightrope since this Karen moved in next door to him. One of the first things she did was cut down the 6-foot hedge that was on the property line, according to her. She said that when my dad was gone, of course. She did that when my dad was gone, of course. I'd be livid. But my dad has been told by other neighbors the hedges belong to his house and that he should make her repay for replacing them. After cutting them down to the ground, she soaked the ground with Roundup to make sure the hedges wouldn't come back. Then she got downspout extensions and had them aimed to the exit of his driveway. He confronted her about that, and she spat back, "It isn't flooding your basement, is it? I didn't think so, so I'm not moving them." Then walked away before he could even respond. Today he has a cold/flu. I went to his house and mowed his lawn for him. The neighbor's downspout extensions were in the way of mowing the strip of grass next to his driveway, so I bent them out of the way. No sooner than I restarted the mower, Karen storms over yelling at me. I had my noise-canceling headphones on, so I paid no attention to her and went back to mowing. I noticed when I got done with his front yard and was heading to the backyard that she made sure to re-aim the spouts further over the property line, so I definitely would enter all the rain water into his driveway. That seems like a call the city or, whatever municipality you live in type of situation. I told my dad he should put some patio blocks in front of the extension to redirect the water back to her. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm glad she's not my neighbor. Edit to add, my dad doesn't like confrontation, so he tries to avoid it. Can understand that. Edit, I'll pass the good legal information on to my dad, but love some of the petty ideas. As one person commented, he's going to have to put up with this, put his big boy pants on and deal with it since he's the one living next to her. I don't live there, and I'm not going to travel there and deal with her every time an issue pops up. He's going to have to figure it out. Several years ago, I had to deal with a drug addict psycho as a neighbor. Cops got involved. Charges were pressed. Took time off work to go to court, only for the judge to give them a fine and probation, of course. Even after they broke probation several times, the probation officer and judge never did anything to punish them. Eventually, apartment management had enough of them causing problems and permanently banned them from the property. Yeah. Legal system doesn't do a lot when they need to and does way more than they need to when they don't need to. Camping Monk says, you can't intentionally aim water to your neighbor's house. Al Kutra says exactly. This is illegal in most jurisdictions in the entire U.S. It doesn't matter if the water causes basement flooding. You simply aren't allowed to use pipes, downspouts, etc., to deflect runoff from hard surfaces like roofs and driveways on your private property to adjacent private property. Right. Or adjacent property, period. Somebody says call code enforcement. And they are correct. Tangerine Couch says, if you let her get away with cutting a row of shrubs to the ground on his property and didn't say anything, he's setting him up for some big trouble because she's going to think she can do whatever she wants. He's not going to fight back, and whether he's comfortable doing it or not. And as far as the shrubs go, he's got to hire an attorney, probably settle that mess. Zedeker says he needs a survey and an attorney. A survey is pretty expensive, too, not to mention the attorney. Least Coast says, and possibly motion-activated sprinkler system. And Cannon says, and a fence. Definitely needs a fence. Velour Shadow says, this isn't just annoying neighbor anymore. It's turning into a pattern of boundary violations. Exactly. Mystic Smile says, people like this mistake silence for weakness real fast. One Less Day answers, because they've gotten away with it every time so far. They're the school bully that never got punched back. Right. Next we have Benign Existence, and it is entitled, My Cat is in Love with Our Screened-In Deck. Chomper is a senior kitty that we adopted 9 years ago after living life as a lab cat at Purina. We are told they are treated well, but this is his first house. Last year, I screened in our second-story deck, hoping to make more appealing for me to sit out there more often. I joked that it was a catio, but I had no idea how it would go. Chomper absolutely loves it. When you walk upstairs and call him, he darts up the stairs to be the first one on the deck. He jumps on the love seat, looks back, hoping you'll sit down with him. He stays on my lap for a while, but once I'm seated, he often just sprawls on the floor across the deck boards in front of me, relaxing into a sleep with soft snores. If the door is open and you're not around, he will come find you and be vocal about getting you to follow him out. When we work in the yard, he sits and meows in a calling kind of way because he wants you to join him. If you're outside, why not hang on the deck after all? It's warm in the house tonight, and I came out to cool down. Chomper was eager as ever, and he's on my lap. Other former Purina cat is quietly sleeping next to me. I'm so happy to give them a home, but it makes me giddy to see how much Chomper adores my new space. He's such a happy boy, and we have cat tags. I'm betting it's Chomper. Oh, it's Colonel and Chomper. Look how cute they are. They're so cute. This one reminds me of my friend Marianne's cat. Kitty cats. Cute little kitty cats. Frau Ziller says, everything about this made me so happy for you and the kitties. There's too many more lovely lounging days and evenings. Next we have Found Satan. It is entitled Good Teacher. Love this teacher. She's not. My teacher left the room during a test, so we all started sharing answers. When I looked up, she was staring right at me. I hope that's so real. I do. I hope that's so real. Top comment is, CCTV was invented in 1942. People in 1941. Rude Boy says, ceiling cat teacher is wanting you to cheat. We're not saying the other word there. That was inappropriate. Ludba says, no, this is a screenshot from the movie Hereditary. Yeah, see, I told you I was hoping it was real. It's not. It's not. Next we have Just No Mill, and it is entitled titled Ex-Mill, introduced herself as his wife while he was on life support. What? I'm confused. This is beyond exhausting to watch my former mother-in-law essentially marry her son, my ex-husband, to keep him from hitting rock bottom. After 15 years of marriage and 3 children together, I watched her bail him out of every responsibility, including our divorce. The level of betrayal is staggering. Last year, she finally admitted that she had known all about it and supported his 9-year affair with a coworker at the entire time. So after they were married for 6 years, he had a 9-year affair. Nice guy. And I mean that. Not a good guy. He's a nice guy. She kept his secret while I was still his wife. Now she continues to ignore his blatant drug use just to keep him under her roof. She has created a relationship so enmeshed that it's visible to everyone. When he was recently on life support in the hospital, why was he on life support in the hospital? I'm nosy. I want to know. She repeatedly introduced herself to multiple nurses and doctors as his wife instead of his mother. That's weird. She even claims she can't go to sleep until he tucks both her and the dog in and kisses them goodnight. Ew. I do not want my kid doing that. No. No, boys, you don't have to do that. Ew. My daughter might. Just kidding. In public, the behavior is just as jarring. She exclusively refers to him as babe or honey and even refers to him as daddy when telling stories. The intimacy between them is so couple-like that it makes everyone uncomfortable. The ongoing joke among those who know them is that they were married in every way except physical component. Are we sure about that? Because I'm not. This dynamic has been a complete barrier to his sobriety. He isn't focused on being a father to his kids because he's too busy being a surrogate husband to his own mother. I'm trying to move on, but the sheer toxicity of this relationship is constant drain on my mental health. No kidding. Rainbow Bright Glasses says, yeah, they wanged. It's probably a contributing factor to his drug issues. And they're not wrong, because that was my thought too. Icy Conversation entered. Yep, I was about to say that. Kitty Pupper Mama Person says, yeah, don't discount the physical. People are sick. That's true. Snark Academia says, ew, just ew. You're better off without these weird Freudian people in your life and around your kids. He doesn't sound like a great role model, and she sounds absolutely bat crap. Yes. Honestly, I would be worried about him around the kids because clearly this in you know what relationship is normal for him. What's he going to do with your kids? It's gross. So gross. Oh, next we have Petty Revenge. And is entitled The Only Thing I Want in the Divorce. A few years ago, I pulled the pettiest revenge on my life on my now ex-wife. I was in Zambia working on a community project when she sent me a Dear John text. At the time, I was in a very remote area. Power came and went, mobile service came and went, and when you had either, you used it immediately because there was no guarantee that it would still be there a minute later. She was back at her home in Europe finishing a project there. The divorce text felt somewhat unexpected, though in hindsight, I probably should have seen it coming. Hey, a guy who says, I didn't see the divorce coming, but I probably should have. At least he's honest about it. We're stupidly competitive about games, not in a toxic way, at least not yet. We had a whiteboard at home dedicated to keeping score for cribbage or whatever else we were playing. That's kind of strange. Even our step count on the health app became competition. I once ran around the flat while she ran to the store to pick up dinner so that I would still win for the day. Dude, you are not mature enough to be married. We would even compete over who would win each episode and season of Alone. I'm not sure what that is. Each episode and season of Alone. Is that one of those reality TV shows? We were sort of gamers too. We'd get stoned, drink some wine or beer, veg out in front of flat screens playing Apple Arcade, and turn every little dumb game into a full-scale conflict. One of those games is called Angry Birds. We'd step later than the other person and beat their score, jump their rank, and keep the whole stupid rivalry alive. I did not take the Dear John text well, by not very well. I mean, I got drunk on village corn liquor and sent her bunch of mean texts like a complete idiot. I was not behaving like a mature adult. Well, I'm not surprised, given the rest of this. She responded by freezing our joint bank accounts. Oh, that's rude. No, you don't do that. Now, freezing a bank account is bad anywhere. In rural Zambia, it becomes a real problem. Getting to an ATM already took effort. And even then, there was no guarantee that the machine had power, network, or actual money in it. Looking back, if I had not acted like a drunken moron, maybe there would have been some tiny chance of repairing the relationship. It doesn't matter. She should not have done that. That is financial abuse. That's financial abuse. Him being mean, he was hurt and drunk and, yeah, probably abusive, but retaliatory violence. And this was not. This was literal financial abuse. It's one thing to yell at somebody that you're mad at. It's another thing to take their money away because they said something mean to you. One night I was laying under a mosquito net, drunk, angry, and feeling sorry for myself. A torch was the only light. And by torch, I think he means flashlight. Right before I passed out, I checked my phone and saw I had service. I had no one I wanted to call, and I sure as heck didn't feel like apologizing for whatever reason. I opened Angry Birds, and there she was. While I was out there drinking corn liquor, ruining my life, she had apparently been busy. Higher scores, higher ranks, more progress. That was when I realized I still had access to our shared Apple account. So I deleted her Angry Bird profile. Well, that's okay. She deleted your money, so gone. Then I changed my character name, and drunkenly, when I typed out F Wayne UB, so she would know it was not a glitch. I'm slightly more mature now. I don't drink anymore. I'm still single. I do miss her sometimes and the fun we had, but I don't think she misses me. Captain Linguini says that we were stupidly competitive about games, but not in a toxic way. Goes on to describe entirely toxic way. Exactly. Traditional mode says it definitely reads toxic in hindsight, but also hilariously on brand. Honestly, deleting the profile was cheaper than therapy. Bumblebee answers right, and I sent her a bunch of texts like a mean idiot. Could mean anything too, like did he threaten to take all their money, threaten her in any way? I feel like the ex-wife is kind of valid for freezing accounts, depending on what he said. She didn't take the money, she froze the account. Yeah, no, that's still financial abuse to me. Replacement Fund answers that one. Like Howard, she breaks up with him when he was 1,000 miles away and then stopped all his resources. What is reasonable about that? If she was scared, she could have taken half the money and maybe free savings. Was he a moron? Sure, but she really needed to win the moron competition too. Yeah, they're both jerks. Their top rated comment, second top rated comment was their top rated comments from Quirky Invite, and they say, when my friend found out her husband was cheating, among other things, in addition to divorcing him, she threw away many years of marathon and triathlon medals. Oh, that's so mean. We would laugh, picturing bragging to women, claiming to have finished multiple marathons and triathlons, but my crazy ex threw out the middle, so I have all the truth. Yeah, right, buddy. Sure, you ran marathons. Well, that's mean. You and your friend are mean. Mac and Cheese says, if somebody threw out my London Marathon medal, there would be hell to pay. Yeah, I would definitely be. Like, that's actual value. You might get in trouble for that because that's thievery, which is illegal. Cheating's not illegal. Not immoral, but it's not illegal. Emma the Jerk, entitled AITJ for refusing to help my friend fix a contract mess after he ignored my warnings. I'm the person in my friend group who reads the fine print. I'm not a lawyer or anything. I just work in a field where I deal with contracts all the time, so people have gotten used to sending me stuff before they sign it. Apartment leases, gym cancellations, vendor agreements, random freelance paperwork. I usually don't mind helping if someone actually wants advice. A few months ago, one of my friends was super excited about launching a small side business with another guy he barely knew. He sent me the partnership agreement and asked if it looked fine. I read it and told him very clearly that it was not fine. There were huge problems with how the profits were split, how expenses were tracked. There was a clause that basically let the other guy make decisions without him if my friend didn't respond fast enough. I told him to slow down, get things clarified in writing, and at a minimum not sign that version. He laughed and said I was doing my usual doom spiral thing. And not everything has to be treated like a hostage negotiation. He signed it anyway. What an idiot. Then for weeks he kept making little jokes in front of people about how I want everyone to live in a padded legal bunker. Everyone should, to be honest. Well, now the partnership is blowing up exactly how I said it would. The other guy made purchases my friend didn't approve, is claiming a bigger cut, and is pointing to the contract for everything. My friend called me in a panic and wanted me to go through all the emails, help draft responses, and basically walk him through the whole mess. I said no. I told him I already gave my help and that he asked, and when he asked for it. I'm not spending my weekend cleaning up something he mocked me for when warning him about. Now a couple of people think I'm being petty because he's stressed enough already. Maybe I am, but I also feel like the people who only value my help when it saves them. No, you are not the jerk. You are not the jerk. He brought this out himself because you were he was warned. He was warned. Cobbler Money is a top rated comment and says your friend has entered the FO phase. You warned him. You did your part. Let him learn from his mistakes. Opie says, thanks. It's hard to watch a friend struggle, but I already did the work once for free. Exactly. Don't go back to this. Sensation Seasons Bloom says, poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part, especially when you already spent time to advise him the exact consequences he's now getting. He can hire a lawyer to extradite himself from the mess he created. He can't, because there's evidence that he did this completely voluntarily, knowing the consequences. He can't get out of it. This is the way it is. No lawyer is going to be able to help him. I don't think a lawyer is going to be able to do one dang thing, because he knowingly, like he had it checked and knowingly went into it, knowing what the issues were going to be, and he did it anyway. Nobody should have to extradite him from that. That's his own problem. May See Me Later says, third top rated comment. NTJ, tell him he needs an actual lawyer at this point since he's already locked himself into a contract and that you can't help him. Candidate Repulse answers, I think this is exactly the right answer. OP admits very knowledgeable but not lawyer. At this point, it's no longer just advice, it's legal advice needed. This is amazing. It's amazing the hole you might dig for yourself with the best of intentions. So get a lawyer and involved and see if some good can be extradited from the situation. I don't think a lawyer is going to help him a lot. Maybe a little, but not what he wants. Signs with a story. Oh, this is sad. Warning. This is sad. It says don't do that. Please do not feed the horses. Horses can't throw up, so if they eat something bad, they just lie down and die. Which is what happened to my horse. And I think my grandpa probably got really mad because he doesn't take crap. He was short and he didn't take crap. Yeah, I think some people got kicked out of my campground when they killed my horse. And it was accident. It was kids. I was we were with another family at the time, and there was a kid about my age, and he goes, you look like your dog died. I'm like, no, my horse died. He's like, ooh. Cheese Shep says, choke is a serious issue for horses. You have to give it a tub. I think they meant tube. Up the nose and down the throat, I believe, since they'll chew the tube if it's in their mouth and try to push the block out. Sometimes it'll happen even when they're eating grain and there's not enough saliva. Yeah, the horses are hard to keep alive sometimes. I think some horses are worse than others. Nori says the reason the tube has to go through the nose is the same reason they can't throw up. Their soft palate extends way further than humans, so you have to bypass it with the tube by going through the nose. Medical discharge says, when I eat something bad, I wish I could lie down and die. I don't. When was the last time I ate something bad? I mean, 4th of July, 20 years ago, maybe more. And I didn't want to feel. I threw it up, and after that, I felt fine. I know exactly what it was. It was Wendy's chicken sandwich, which I never get, but it was not cooked. And I didn't finish it, but I did get sick on it. And I was at home by myself because I was also, had my monthly, shall we say. So I wasn't going anywhere. The kids and the husband were off watching the fireworks on their bikes. And it's like, no, I do not want to do that today. It's not a good day for that. So I drove myself to Wendy's and got a burger that made me even more sick than I already was. And I still didn't want to lay down and die. So I don't know that I don't know that I've ever eaten anything that's made me want to lay down and die. I don't think I've ever been sick enough to really want to lay down and die. I've been sick enough to feel like I was dying, like last year. And honestly, norovirus over anything else. Not rotavirus. Rotavirus is bad, but norovirus is usually a day, maybe 2 of throwing up. It will not kill you. It will make you sick, but it will not kill you. And even though you might feel like you want to die, you're not going to die. Serious Hybrid says, can horses eat apples and carrots on occasion? Nori says, some horses don't have good teeth and will swallow pieces of carrot that are too big, and they can get stuck in their esophagus. Horses are strange animals. Elegant Coast says, I really feel like horses are way more delicate than most of us thought. They can be, yeah. Stoked Daughter says they're surprisingly fragile and also surprisingly tough at the same time. Yeah. Placebo says evolution forgot to do its job. And says, no, evolution is too slow to adapt to the new trends that horses are being fed by furless apes. That's probably true. Next we have expectation versus reality. That's what I asked for versus what I got. We're not going to read any of it. We're just going to look first. This is very cute. Happy birthday, Hannah. 29. So Hannah is 29 years old. That's cute. I don't get why you would put this picture of a girl with a guy on a birthday cake for a girl. It's weird, but okay. Oh. Oh, that's funny. I just put a paper on it. They were not up to the task, apparently. At first glance, I'm like, oh, that's good. Oh, no, that's not good. That's a piece of paper. It's not even a clean piece of paper. There's fingerprints all over it. Why? Although this is weird anyway. Why would you put that on somebody's birthday? I posted this in our cake decorating, and the mods took it down. I have notoriously bad luck, so my husband and I got a good laugh out of this. Yes, that's a piece of paper. No, it doesn't say happy birthday or my name. Yes, I got this for free. Edit to clear up some confusion. This was a paid inquiry. My husband's coworker recommended her. The story is that she ordered edible paper and it came damaged and didn't have time to replace it. She offered to give us a cake for free and was very apologetic. Didn't know it was going to be a legit piece of paper. Edit too, she had a 2 weeks heads up. I would think that you would be able to get paper, like edible paper, less than 2 weeks. Amazon's a thing, people. Just printed paper, and she says there's saran wrap underneath. Satisfaction at Sea answers her and says, I'm screaming, holy crap, rice paper is not even expensive or difficult to use. I did all the time decorating cakes. And a GD Kroger. Kroger has good cakes, though. Scrambled eggs answers one more time. Kroger. Now I want a Kroger cake. Maybe I should go get some. Maybe I should go to Kroger. I can go to Kroger now. Squeaky Pickle says, since you got it for free, I'm comfortable stating this is hilarious. Freaking paper penner. Also, happy birthday. Yeah, I'm glad she got it for free. At least they didn't make her pay for it. It's funny. I still don't know why they wanted that picture on the cake. It's weird. All right, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, and it's going to be 3 times starting next month. Usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, and tell your enemies. And tell your dad's kids that you have nothing to do with. If you have a story of your own, come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch. I can't even talk today. Biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com. And the email is also in the description as well as all of my socials. So please follow me there because you will get on most of them. Some of them you can't really put just a text, but most of them you can put a text. Next we have our real estate section, and it is entitled 22 bedroom, 9 bathroom. Okay, that's not enough bathrooms for 22 bedrooms. Victorian for $300,000 and a lot of elbow grease. This is in Albany, New York. Okay. I'm assuming it's this one. I mean, it's not the worst looking building. This is all looks, redone. It does have a side yard, so that's nice. Why are there 22 bedrooms in there? Sale is pending. It's $300,000. 4,166 square feet. How is it 22 bedrooms? Yeah, you're going to have to fix some stuff. But it's cheap. It's only $300,000. It's way cheap. Well, that's not that bad. Like, you have to put a new floor in. Maybe redo the ceiling. Better than that. The flooring and ceiling are doable. If you're me. Oh, I like the oriental rug. That's nice. It's got a fireplace. The gold's got to go. No, we're not doing gold. Got a nice chandelier's fine too. I don't know what room this is because it doesn't say. See, I'm not a big wallpaper person, so all of that would have to come down. My father-in-law was a house painter, not a house wallpaper. It's radiated heat, obviously. Which is neat. I mean, you could put some shelves up here. That'd be cool. Not sure what that's all about. That's really weird looking. Nice yellowish room. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a little. This will have to be all redone. I mean, there's stuff peeling up, and that looks nasty. That might not be fixable. I might have to replace it. That's got to be replaced. Like there's a lot of replacing. Yeah. Why is so much of the well? There you got water damage here, so you're gonna have to. This might be more work. Now we're into water damage, and water damage is bad. Water damage is not something you really want to work with. Mold remediation is complicated and expensive. That is a A really big closet. I'm guessing it's a closet. I don't know. Why is there a stove stuck in here? Is this the whole kitchen? Why? I'm so confused. It's a tiny kitchen if it's a kitchen. Like teeny tiny. It's a bathroom that needs to be redone. You're talking 10 grand on each bathroom. But there's only 9. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful staircase. Beautiful. I love the railing on it. It goes all the way up, man. That's kind of cool. Put some cushions on there. You can look outside while you read. Love the stained glass too. Another staircase. It says "Do not enter." Oh my, what's up there? Is it like Amityville Horror House or what? I mean, yeah, it's going to take a lot of work, but somebody with time and energy and could get a real deal on this. Another fireplace. Doesn't look like it's been used in a while. It's nice though. Just needs a little cleanup. What is that? I don't understand half of these rooms. Is that a bedroom? That's not a bedroom. That's a closet. Another nice fireplace. I mean, if these are bedrooms, you're going to need to knock it out. See, it looks here like they put walls in. You could take the walls back out and make bigger rooms. That's a cool area. And a closet. I don't understand stuff. There's another sink that needs to be replaced. Don't know what the meaning of it is. Is the bathroom? I don't know. No, there's the kitchen. So what was that other kitchen about? I'm confused. I'm so confused. There are 95 pictures, guys. We're only at 36. We're not even halfway through. I guess maybe I should go faster. I thought there were 35 pictures. Oh, a Murphy bed. That's cool. Another bathroom. This one, you might be able to rehab instead of replace everything. Bathroom, bedroom, bedroom. Why are the bedrooms? See, I'm trying to figure out where the walls have come out because you can take the walls back out sometimes. This is a bathroom? I don't know. Is it a bedroom with a bathroom in it? No, I guess it's just a bedroom with a sink. Hey. Another bathroom. That one's got to be totally taken out. Like completely taken out and redone. Another bedroom with a sink in it. I'm going to take out all the sinks. What is with the bedrooms with the sinks in them? Was it some kind of hostel or something? I'm so confused. Another bedroom, no sink. Oh, no, there's a sink. I spoke too soon. This must be the attic area, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's going to be some work. But you could live in the under one. You can get some of the, like, work on the first floor, get that done, move in, and then you can work on the rest of it as you go. Why do you need 22 bedrooms, though? The bedrooms are really small. That is your electrical. Another bedroom, I is presumed. All the bedrooms have water to them, so if you want to just do some Jack and Jill bedrooms, or yeah, you could do some Jack and Jill bedrooms and put the middle one as a bathroom. Another stove and sink and refrigerator. Is this a second or a third kitchen? How many kitchens are in this house? This feels like it was a foster home or something. You know, one of those foster home, halfway house, something like that. That's the feel I get. That's really weird. Just saying. A sink on one side and a tub on the other. That's really weird. There's also another fridge. I'm so confused. And that's a tub, and yeah, that's a whole bathroom. Plus another sink. Weird. That one's a lot of work. Holy cow. Make sure you got all the mold taken care of before you move in, though. For sure. Another one you're going to have to work on. Yet another kitchen. I'm so confused. Why didn't they... Look how small and old that stove is. You don't need this many kitchens unless it's like a halfway house or something. A home for unwed mothers. Remember those? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 stories tall. I can't believe it's only 4,000 square feet. Yeah. 4,200 square feet. This looks like it's been built onto it. That's been built on. Weird stuff. This probably has too. The bottom probably has too. Weird stuff. It's definitely downtown. There's a beautiful house across the street. Yeah, work on the yard too. It's so weird. And I'm so confused. There's even a little thing in the roof. You can look out. Look. That view up here for miles. You got customary drone. Got a bigger yard too, it looks like. Which is nice. In that kind of setting. Oh, there's also a little playground across the street with swings and stuff. That's nice. Oh, here we go. First floor. The hallway, a recreation room. A room. A bedroom and kitchen. A room and inside of a room, which is weird. Hallway with a bathroom. Another kitchen. We're going to count kitchens. That's 2 kitchens. Just on the first floor, there's 2 kitchens. Hallway. I don't know what that is. Another bedroom, which could be with another bathroom. And another room inside of it with a sink. I'm so confused. Second floor. Where we come up? Okay, come up here. There's a room. Not a bedroom, just a room. There's a kitchen and a dining area, so that's 3 kitchens. There's a room, but you have to go through another room to get to it. Why is there not an entryway in the dining room? And then there's a third room that has 3 entries, and the primary bedroom, a family room, and a living room on the second floor. No, that says first floor. No, that's got to be second floor. I don't know. That doesn't say what floor it is. Next floor, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms and a kitchen. That's 4 kitchen. 2 hallway areas, 1, 2 bathrooms. And 1 just room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bedrooms that are like one of them 6'10", like 15 feet long, but one of them is 8. Like I like a good 10, at least 10 on one end. Both ends should be about 10. 8-foot bedroom. That's not a bedroom. That's a closet. So we're up to 4 kitchens. Shall we go on? 2, 3, 4. No, we didn't see all of these. Okay, kitchens. Bath. 1, 2. This bedroom with a kitchen and a room. That could be like a a suite for servant suite, worker suite. It has another bedroom, dining room, kitchen. This one has a giant kitchen, and this one has room, hallway. Yeah, 4 kitchens. There are 4 kitchens in this house. Why? Why are there 4 kitchens? I'm so confused. More layouts that we already saw. Just weird. Alright. 4 kitchens? Really? 22 bedrooms, 4 kitchens, but only 9 baths. It's wild. Wild. Built in 1880. And this says it's 56, almost 5,700 square feet. 56 and a half. Over 56 and a half square feet. So that doesn't match up. Because the listing says 4,100 square feet, which is big, but highest best due tomorrow. It has multiple offers, apparently. Common use for this structure falls under a dwelling townhouse residential use, which allows for 1 unit per floor, up to 3 units. So you can divvy it up and make it apartments. 22 bedrooms, 9 full bathrooms. 3 on the first floor, 4 on the first floor, 6 on the second floor, 8 on the third floor, and 4 in the basement. 5 great rooms. The basement has 3 great rooms. I'm so confused. Oh, it's making no sense. No appliances are included, even though it's full of appliances. Cathedral ceiling crown moldings. Okay, so they're not including below ground in the square footage, which is what we do here too. 1 total parking space. Just hysterical. There's a porch. Rubber roof. I don't know what that means. I haven't run into that. Public sewer, public water. It's in Albany. Taxes $8,600. So you are gonna have to. It is on contingent right now. That is wild. That is wild. Sneaky Olympia is a top-rated comment, and they say each room and hallway comes with its own Victorian era ghost. OP says, "In sync, good deal." Oh. The top-rated comment. The second one was kind of weird. It's Ken Popcorn, and it says it would make a hell of a B&B. Yeah. Echo Azure says, "What kind of neighborhood is it in?" And Old James says, "Bad." Could make it better. Some good people in there. Next, we have Server Life. It says, "Check out this review we got on Super Bowl Sunday." It's a 1-star review, so it could go on our bad reviews. "After hearing 2 songs in Spanish, I asked for the bartender to change the music channel to an American station. She said no. Her manager chose the station, and she asked if I was offended. She said no, but wish I could understand the lyrics. She replied, it's only one song. I said, no, it's been two back to back. She said sarcastically, wow. That's what I would say too. She was rude. I'm not an intruder. I'm not into rude bartenders or listening to Mexican music when I'm eating in an American restaurant. I'd hate for her to go to a Middle Eastern restaurant. They have some good music there, but I don't think this person would like it. In addition, another customer came up to me and said they agree with me. Sure they did. The bartender was standing at the bar and overheard the conversation between myself and another customer, now acknowledged that the music should be changed from Spanish to English. You don't work there, lady. You're just there. You can leave. You can leave. She obviously cares more about her manager than customers enjoying their dining experience. No, she cares more about keeping her job than worrying about biddies complaining about perfectly fine music. Then during checkout, she was rude and condescending again. She never said had a nice day or thanks for dining with us. She doesn't want you to have a nice day, ma'am. She wants you to have the day you deserve. I didn't leave a tip. Oh, of course you didn't. And will spend my money elsewhere. It's Super Bowl Sunday today. For context, I was serving tables, by the way, not the bartender. This man came in to watch this. Oh, he's a guy. Sounds like an old lady. To watch the Super Bowl and complained about our music station because it had two songs had Spanish lyrics in them. The songs he complained about were Telepatia Cali Uchas and Despacito remix. Really? He's complaining about Despacito? Oh my goodness. Louis Fonsi, Dad Yankee, and Justin Bieber. Both of these songs are mostly Spanish but also have English lyrics. And it's true that we can't control the music, our manager chooses it. This guy was so rude about the music, and he said, we are in America, we want to listen to American music. And this was Super Bowl Sunday. So guess what the language of the Super Bowl halftime was going to be in. I guess he was coming to this place to get away from Bad Bunny. I don't know. English is the American language, and our bartender was busy, and she didn't even bother to argue with him, just let him throw his fit. And she kept helping other customers. Good for her. Good for her. That clearly hurt his ego based on his review, and the Super Bowl went on. He was still butthurt, but I don't remember any more Spanish songs being played on the radio. But the halftime show is when he lost his mind. He asked our bartender to change it to whatever the other halftime show was. Oh, absolutely not. No, man. No, sir. It had Kid Rock in it, I think. She said, no, everyone here is watching the Super Bowl, and the halftime show is on all of our TVs. So I'm not going to change the channel on them while they're in the middle of watching the performance. Good for her. And he tried getting everyone in the bar to agree with him on not watching Bad Bunny. But only one other guy was, yeah, I could watch that other halftime show. So stay home and watch it. Ugh. So that's what he's referring to when he said another customer agreed with him. Why didn't he mention the halftime show in his review? I have no idea. But I just wanted to post this because it made me laugh. NCAB says, these people you do not even want in your restaurant. They did you a favor by identifying themselves. Exactly. We don't want you. You're allowed to come, but don't make waves. Chuckles says, private company and establishment entitled people can kick rocks. Blitz says, fixing this for you. Entitled people can kick rocks with Kid Rock. Chuckles answers, Kid Rock can rot. Wang that crap stain too. Can't wait for my last month at work. Honestly, want to start a union and just treat guests like they deserve. Great. Whether that's good or bad. Creme Brew says, intense snowflake energy here. OP says, I said the exact thing to our bartender. It's always the ones calling everyone else's snowflakes who end up being the biggest, most fragile snowflakes of all of them. And that's 100% true. Metal Angelo, not Michelangelo, Metal Angelo, I presume. is a third top rate comment, and they say most of the server staff in my place are Hispanic and often speak to each other in Spanish. We had tons of old racist people complaining about them speaking Spanish to each other. It's super ridiculous. So learn Spanish so you know what they're saying. Duck McSnail said they have to be able to listen to the conversation. How dare you not speak their language so they can eavesdrop / sarcasm. OP says, same here. Some of my coworkers are actively trying to erase their accent so people will stop being racist to them. It makes me really upset. My brother-in-law did that. I would love to see what his accent sounds like, but he purposefully lost it before I met him. Next we have confession. It is entitled Organized Plus booked an Airbnb for a Bach trip and got refunded for it, but no one told me. That's weird. This is a few years ago. I'm no longer friends with this bride. Oh, it was Batch, not Bach. Maybe spell things out. It says BACH is Bach to me because I am a, cultured person. This was a few years ago, and I'm no longer friends with the bride, but it was her maid of honor. One thing I took care of as a broke, basically unemployed full-time student was booking the Airbnb for the group, which was as it went as expected with nearly 13 girls. Before leaving for our trip, I had a video on my For You page on TikTok of someone who booked an Airbnb and was able to get a full refund for undisclosed security cameras, as it is against Airbnb's policy not to disclose even a Ring doorbell. I stored this knowledge in my mind in my brain to myself for our trip and went on. The trip came and we got our Airbnb, which was decent, but they did leave a pile of what I assume were dirty towels and undisclosed Ring doorbell under the B&B listing amenities. It specifically had an X under security cameras, meaning it was not equipped for them. The Airbnb owner is one of those companies that buy up tons of properties and use them as STR, so I did not feel bad when I reached out to Airbnb after the trip mentioning that they had an undisclosed cameras on the property and per their policy would entitle me to a full refund. I expected some kind of pushback from Airbnb, but I was given a full refund, $2,000+. I never told a soul besides now. I considered it my payment for organizing the entire thing myself. It's hard coordinating a trip with 12 girls. That's wrong. That's theft, ma'am. You are wrong here. Competitive Trick says, came here curious about a trip considered centered around a German composer. Angled Lufa says, 1-star review. Had cameras, will not be Bach. International Dilemma answers, my Brahms Gateway was nothing compared to my Mozart Holiday. Im says, nothing beats a JetBlue Danube Holiday. That's funny. Not mention you. Not me, not you, not me, not. Says, as penance, give us the tea while you're no longer friends with the bride. Edit, I'm dumb. Edit, spelling is hard. Edit, an honest mistake. Edit, boy, I sure do mess up a lot. She's got pendant spelled wrong first, dumb spelled wrong, and a lot spelled wrong. Edit, knock knock. Bow Wow Chicka Chicka says, I'd love to see some stats on this. I think it's very common and a very strange occurrence. I'd like to know too. Oh, here we go. OP says, long story short, she wasn't a great friend. I was putting a lot of effort, asking her to hang out, checking on how she was, always being the one to reach out first. So one day I stopped, and when I got engaged about 2.5 months after not hearing from her, I did tell her because we never had a formal falling out per se. Her response was that for me? Congrats. Then she has the audacity to ask our hair girl if she's seen me because I haven't talked to her. Yet still never reached out herself. Weirdo. That is strange. That is very, very strange. Third top rated comment is from Fit Leather, and they say, the whole bachelorette industrial complex is completely out of hand. Yes. All you need is a little party. You don't need all this mess. It used to be a one night of revelry and that's it. Now bridesmaids are expected to pay $1,000+ before factoring in travel to the wedding. Don't subject your friends to it just because they did it to you. Don't ask your non-generational wealth friends to max out their credit cards to be your friend. Good for you for getting your unpaid labor to be paid. I still think she shouldn't have kept all the money. Maybe some of it, but not all of it. Interesting AF is entitled Parents of LBGT Children at the First Pride Parade in 1973. 1973. Would have been 8, probably. Here's the parents of gays. Isn't that nice? Proud of my gay fun. I will not be a closet mother. I think this one probably says come out. Good on these parents. These are good parents. Okay, here's a better high quality one. This shows more of it. Come out. Yeah, I was right about that. I don't know what's going on here. Why is that man confronting that woman? That's what it looks like. This is in front of the Village Cigars. And then parents march in support of LGBTQ rights at Gay Pride Parade in Greenwich Village in New York City, U.S. 30th June 1974. Right is American lawyer Dick Ashworth, marching with a sign that reads, "I'm proud of my gay son." He later became the founding members of PFLAG, Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. And the photo is by Bettman via Getty. And there was a gay pride parade in Greenwich Village in 1970. Apparently, people in the UK have no access to Imager. And somebody provided him with the photo. Second top rated comment is Operation Soap was organized raid by the Toronto police on Bath House in 1981, besting a bunch of consenting adults. These parents are badass, and there was still a long fight ahead, and they were leading it. So 1981 was several years later. That was in Canada. OP says young people today may not realize how radical these parents were. Back then, being gay was illegal. Anti-sodomy laws were in effect, covering almost any form of gay sex. No one was out. The very concept didn't exist until 1973. And these parents rock. Yes, exactly. Next we have I'm at the A-hole, and it is entitled AITA for installing a camera in my room to see if my mom is lying to me. I mean, it's your room. As long as it's not a bathroom. I, 19 male, and my mother, 49 female, have had numerous fights in the past few weeks. Most are on the same topic, that being her going into my room and looking around without me knowing. I mean, he's 19. He shouldn't be doing that. You might find stuff you don't want to see. Basically, every time I would leave the house for work or anything else, I would always leave my door fully closed, but I would come back to it open. Also, I'd be incredibly positive that certain things had been moved around or gone, straight up gone. So naturally, I asked my mom if she had gone in my room, and she would always say no. Now, maybe the first couple times I could play it off of me forgetting to close my bedroom door. But once it started happening multiple times a week, I knew it wasn't the case. So yesterday I went out and bought one of those Bluetooth surveillance cameras. At this point, I was positive she was going in my room behind my back and then lying about it. I just wanted proof because I knew this would just continue happening otherwise. This morning before I left for work, I made sure the camera was working, closed my bedroom door completely, and then headed out. Around midday, I got a notification on my phone that the camera had detected some motion. So I pulled up the view to view the recording. Wouldn't you know it, there was my mom going through my drawers, closet, and desk. She was even grabbing things and tossing them out into the hallway. I shifted the view feed seething, making sure I saved it first and planned to confront her first thing when I was done with my shift. I got home. I immediately asked her if she'd gone into my room. She said no. I responded by pulling up the video and holding up my phone in front of me so she could see it. Instead of apologizing, she exploded. She screamed at me for installing a camera in her house without her permission. It's his house too? He's living there? I responded by demanding an explanation for her going in my room. She insisted she had the right to as a mother. No, you don't. Actually, you do not. You do not have a right to go into an adult child's room. Even if you own the house, it don't matter. She began questioning certain things in my room, which I said is none of her business. At this point, I was done, stormed off, and went to my room. Within the hour, my phone started blowing up with messages from family, all siding with my mom, telling me I'm insane for putting up a camera. I kid you not, the entire family is on my mom's side, except my dad. Unfortunately, my dad can't stop this himself, as my parents split up years ago, and he isn't allowed in my mom's house. Well, go live with Dad. I swear I'm doing nothing wrong here, like it's only my space in the house where I keep my things and relax. I do my own stuff, or am I just completely out of my mind? No, you are not the a-hole here at all. Actually, you should go lock on your room. Extra information. I have never stolen anything, not from stores or any other family members. I have never had a history of drugs or smoking, vaping. The things I saw from the video was her taking from my room were these: a notebook, a pair of sneakers from my collection, a few pairs of my pants, some plastic clothes hangers, my second bedside lamp, and old paychecks from my work. Also, I don't pay rent. That doesn't matter. Update. Over the course of the week, I'm going to start moving things to my dad's place. I'm also not telling my mom about it until everything is gone. I appreciate you making me realize my mom was overstepping a lot. A lot. Update 2. I did what many of you suggested and checked my credit to make sure no money went magically disappearing. I'm pleased to see that nothing was gone, but that didn't stop me from locking it. As for now, I know she doesn't have any information on it, as the pay stubs don't actually have my credit card number or any information for my account, just the money I was paid over a certain period. Again, thanks to all of you who replied. I greatly appreciate all of you. Update 3. Moved my first couple of things over to my dad's. Luckily, my mom wasn't home when I did that, so it was really easy. I will continue to do this throughout the week. Update 4. I can no longer view the video feed from the camera. I just got an unable to connect pop-up. I don't think I need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out, though I won't know for sure until I get back tomorrow to grab more stuff. It was still in its normal spot earlier today when I went to grab stuff. Update 5. If she took it, you can, she's taking things from you. You can, literally have her arrested. Okay, update 5. Sorry for the long wait on the next update. I have no idea how long. I wanted to stay away from the post for just a bit to clear my head. I have moved over a lot of things to my dad's. Also, I have decided that I'm not going to move everything. Some things just aren't worth moving. My dad said he'd help me buy some things I won't move over. Oh yeah, and the camera's gone. Not in the trash, straight up disappeared. I'll just let y'all thoughts run wild on that. I'll only update one last time, which is when I'm officially at my dad's. Again, I appreciate every single one of you support. Update 6, final update. At my dad's now, y'all. I actually moved a week ago. Just didn't get around to updating the post, and that's fine. Moving is stressful, and you should have time to do it. My mom has tried to call me around 3 times today, but I always decline the calls. I'm positive she will try to play the victim and blame me somehow. She's done that before for other things. But yeah, I feel much better at my dad's. The room at my dad's actually has a lock on it, so I don't even need to worry about privacy. Not saying I don't trust my dad, because I absolutely do. Again, all of your support over the past weeks has been greatly appreciated. I wish I could give you all a big hug right now, but this is the last you'll hear from me on this post. Take care, everybody. No, you're not the asshole, and you should have your mother arrested. Honestly. Yellow Rose, a top-rated comment. Yikes, bro, move out. Funny Perception says, in this economy? Megan Shadow says, Dad is not allowed in Mom's house. Dad has a place to live. Hope he should join him. Then they get into an argument about something. Second top-rated comment is deleted. Third top-rated comment is, can you move in with your dad? And OP says, I absolutely can. Is probably what I'm going to happen. And Athley answers, you absolutely should. She's just going to escalate. And 2, be prepared if when you move out for her to escalate fast, especially considering how quickly she turned the rest of the family to smear you. I recommend giving her a little warning as possible, both about the move itself and who you're moving in with. maybe doubly so, about the who, in order to minimize the amount of time she'll have to retaliate by stealing, destroying more of your stuff. Yeah, don't go in your kids' rooms unless unless you have evidence that they're doing something illegal. Stay out of your kids' rooms. It's not right. Next, we have I Don't Work Here Lady. It is entitled Just Here to Enjoy the Show. Okay, for a little clarification, I work for a company that provides additional security services to various venues. Why is it doing that? That was weird. My phone just started recording for no apparent reason. What the heck? Now I'm really worried. I don't even know where to find that. Here in files. Like it just blipped off and on, but it was definitely recording. Okay, it's not in the audio there section. Apparently I haven't recorded any videos since. Yeah, never mind. I don't know what I'm doing. That was very odd. Usually I'm on my phone all the time. Very weird. Probably the government. Okay. I had worked multiple times doing bag checks at this particular venue that has Broadway shows on tour. I'm usually placed at one of the two accessible entrances. However, on this day I was there to see the show. I was dressed up quite nicely and seated on a bench, reading on my phone while I waited for my mother, who was using the restroom. When a lady, I'm guessing her mother, who was in a wheelchair, comes up to me and demanded that I help them to their seats. I explained that I didn't know where their seats were, but I'm sure an usher could help them. She snapped that she knew I worked there and I needed to get up and help her. I said firmly that I was there to enjoy the show as a guest tonight and with my mother, and repeated that an usher could help her find her seats. Even if I had been working, I would have told her to get an usher because I had no clue about the seating. Just then my mother, also a wheelchair user, came out of the bathroom, so I got up and walked off with her to find our seats. It turns out our seats were fairly close to each other, and she spent most of the show looking uncomfortable, especially when we had to share an elevator on our way out. The lady's mother did quietly apologize in the elevator. The lady just looked embarrassed. We saw Phantom of the Opera, if anyone was wondering what the show was. Good show. Good show. NYC says, oh, you gotta love it when the mother of a grown adult feels like they have to apologize. You got payback for days when you weren't even there to enjoy it. From the moment I was old enough to be viewed as an adult, my mother made it very clear that if I ever did anything so embarrassing that she had to apologize to someone for it, it would be the last time, and she would end me before I had the chance to do it again. I can brought you into this world. I can take you out. Second top rated comment is, yep, that older woman in the wheelchair is never going to let go of that incident. The adult daughter will be hearing about this on the regular, probably right up to the mom's deathbed words. Why not? Says, glad you got to enjoy this show. I love Phantom of the Opera. Same. Next we have Overheard and is entitled Orgy. The question mark's not there. My sister's boyfriend invited me to play mini golf with his friends. This is what I overheard mid-game. Boyfriend, dude, if you're expecting nothing but orgies and crap, you're going for the wrong reasons. Burning Man is so much more than that. Besides, I've been to an orgy and it's nothing like in the movies. Friend, BS, bro, I know you. If you went to an orgy, you would have shared the news the next day. Boyfriend, I did share the news the next day. I just didn't share it with you. Ask Joey. He was there. Friend, at the orgy. Boyfriend, no one shared the news. Joey says it's true. He struggled to get it up, and left. Oh, this must be the other guy from last week. Boyfriend, that's not exactly what I said. Friend, you were in a room full of naked people and you stayed soft, bra. Boyfriend, oh, so now you believe the orgy happened. Friend, you managing to disappoint more than one woman at the same winging time sounds totally believable. At least your dick stopped you from being, dare I say, hard on yourself. Boyfriend, are you done? Friend, some guys drown in pussy whereas others drown in the presence of. Boyfriend, this is why Joey was my orgy guy and not you. Oh, that's hysterical. Lois Elaine says this quotes, this is why Joey was my orgy guy, not you. Says I lost it at this. Confident Highlight says this experience sounds legit. Neat Pen is the third top rated comment. It says, OMG, I'm dying laughing here. 100% this legitimate stuff. Oh. Next we have True Off My Chest and is entitled, Paying for a Homeless Person's Candy May Have Saved My Life. I, 18, was visiting a local university with some of my friends. We'd been at a party, but I was designated driver, so I stayed sober. We left from the function around 12. Our hometown is a few hours away, so I stopped at a convenience store to get an energy drink. I got a Bloom and a water for the drive home. My drunk friends really wanted dessert, so I told them I'd grab something from the way back. On the way back, I was checking out. They picked out a place on the college town's main road. Last night was one of the biggest parties of the year, so people from all over across the region come, and I was there earlier, and it was packed, but I didn't see any harm stopping by real quick. We were just about to leave when a homeless lady was checking out, but she was 10 cents short for one Laffy Taffy. She asked me if I could spot her, so I started looking for a dime. I had none in my wallet, so I told her I would go to my car, and I could not find any dimes in the car. It took me a solid 10 minutes to find one. I gave it to her, and she ended up paying for the candy and thanked me. I would have just paid for candy at that point. It's a dime. After that, we started driving to the dessert shop. We got stuck in gridlock traffic. Police cars kept driving past us with lights and sirens on. After about 30 minutes, I made a U-turn and drove home without getting dessert. In the street in front of the dessert shop we were trying to get to, there was a fight. The fight quickly escalated, and people started shooting at each other. It was so packed, multiple people were hit by flying shrapnel and stray bullets who were not even involved in the original fight. Yeah, that's usually what happens when bullets start flying. If I didn't spend the next extra 10 minutes trying to find the dime, we would have been inside the dessert shop or waiting in line outside the store. My friends were so drunk I don't know if they could have ran. I know people who were around the shooting, and they said it was chaos. We may have gotten trampled or worse. I guess the moral of the story is good karma will help you in the long run, or maybe over a period of just a few minutes. Oh my goodness, that's scary. It's scary to be so close to something like that. Ooh, I know that. By the way, I was reading Facebook the other day. Pops up on the where I grew up. Not my town I live in now, but my hometown where I grew up. Sheriff's office explaining that a fight broke out at graduation in my hometown on Saturday. I think it was on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. Nice. That's classy. That's very classy, guys. Good job. Like, at least 5 people were arrested. And one 7-year-old got hurt bad enough that they had to call an ambulance. Poor little kid. Two of me says, my parents used to work a block away from the World Trade Center. On 9/10, my dad was sick, so he went to the doctor, and the pharmacy was out of stock of the medication his doctor prescribed. So I told him it would be there in the morning. Morning of 9/11, they told him they wouldn't be able to fill it until later that afternoon, so my parents stayed home that day. One sick day, my parents took probably in a decade, literally saved their lives. Close. When Drake answers that, my dad was supposed to have a meeting on 9/11 in the North Tower on the 91st floor at 9 a.m. He got a call Sunday rescheduling the meeting to Monday morning because the guy he was meeting had to had something pop up that he needed to out of town on 9/11. My dad still has his photo badge from 9/10 at 8:45 a.m. They were both saved because some random thing that made them reschedule. 9/11 is full of stories like this. I like to think our guardian angels are working hard to get people to not go to work. Yeah, but a lot of people did. So much for your guardian angels. Somebody with a very inappropriate name says, one night I was planning on going to my buddy's house to jam. I have beers to have some beers and party. My daughter, who was about 4 at the time, said she wanted me to stay home with her and mommy and basically begged me to stay. She had never done that before, so I figured, what the hell, I'll stay. Good dad. Green flags for this dad. When your kids are asking you for your attention, give it to them. I called my friend and told him that I wouldn't be able to make it that night. The next day I called and was told what happened. They had a huge party. There was a guy there who was like a friend of a friend, and they didn't really know him. They said he was acting kind of weird the whole night, was basically minding his own business, so they left him alone. Turns out that guy was on PCP and quietly took a butcher's knife from the kitchen and started stabbing people. He snuck up behind my friend and slit his throat. He died almost instantly. Oh my gosh. His wife threw their kids out of the back window and then jumped out herself, and they all hid while she called the police. The police found the guy walking down the road and covered in blood. He didn't even remember killing anyone because he was so high. I absolutely believe that my daughter begging me to stay home saved my life, because I would have certainly been close to my boy, and I would have tried to stop the guy, possibly getting hurt or killed myself. I'm so glad I listened to her. There was something different in her voice when she said, "Daddy, please don't go." I just didn't think that would happen. Wow, that's really scary. Their top rated comment is from Ivory Woman. A friend was supposed to attend the economics conference that was being held at the World Trade Center on 9/11. A friend arrived a bit late and was paying their taxi fare when the first plane hit. Wow, yeah. I'd have been out of there real fast. Next we have What Do I Do? It is entitled, I feel really bad about selling this laptop. What do I do? I'm a teenager who likes to repair tech and sell it as a hobby and save up for a PC. I found this laptop in their store for $16. It had a Best Buy customer repair sticker on it that says, "Customer said tea spilled on keyboard won't power on." After taking it home and taking it apart, I found all of the internals were completely unharmed, save for the tiny connector that connected the power button to the motherboard. After cleaning that and cleaning as much of the tea stains off the plastic, it booted and works fine. I plan to list it for $350, and I let it go for $300. Now I got a message asking me to let it go for $250, and she's telling me she needs it for her son to do his homework. I feel really bad now about the price. I really hate scalpers, and I don't want to do the same thing to them. Please tell me what to do. Is it right for me to tell her no? Am I price gouging? Prices are Canadian dollars. No. No, she's ripping you off. 9 times out of 10, these people are lying. So unless you can verify, don't. Sneeze Milk says you need money for your chemotherapy. I want to be too says, careful, OP. She might counter this with homework my son is doing is for curing cancer. Capital Pass says, lady, I think you need at least a $2,500 computer to do that. Somebody with a bunch of CJC, we'll call it CJC, says, second top rated comment. Honestly, her story is not your problem. Correct. Sexist Hunter. Oh, sexist hunter. Sexist hunter. Not lesbian hunter, sexist hunter. Okay. Story of the lesbian hunter. Good songs. Sexist hunter says, also, if she needs a computer for her son's homework, she can buy a way cheaper one, like one that is already listed for $250 or less. I doubt her story is real. She's probably a reseller. That would be my guess too. Stubby Pablo says, that's her negotiating with you. A low effort guilt trip to see how easy you will break. Tell her you can't do 250. To put your mind at ease, she can get a Chromebook for 300 and for 139 at Best Buy. RJ&D says exactly. If she really wanted something for her kid to do his homework, she could definitely find something for less than 250. This is just guilt trip, and it's probably not even true. Exactly. Sylvan Whisperer is one of the answers. She says, I just got a refurbished Lenovo on eBay for $90. Next is Oh No Consequences, and it is entitled Guy Gets Off Bus to Fight and Can't Get Back On. I love it already. Trying to take the 203 home, bus 1/3 for me, and in the back there are 5 seats connected. Guy by the window needed to get off, and I guess just made a please move gesture, to which the guy in the middle blocking him says, what, do you not know how to say excuse me? They go back and forth and for enough time. You need to say excuse me. I need to get off here. Can you please move? While we were waiting for the light to turn green, it's like, my dude, you know the guy needs to get off, just move. But of course, miserable people want to make other people miserable, so he doesn't let him through until he's given a verbal lashing. I mean, can you please move is just as good as excuse me. Finally, the poor window seat guy gets out of his row, and the leg spreader is still going after him. Window guy just trying to defend himself until leg spreader guys, you want to take this off the bus? And window guy is like, yeah, fine, sure, because he wants to get off the bus. Leg spreader stands up to line up behind window guy, and the moment of them standing civilly next to each other, waiting to get off the bus to finish it, was pure gold. We get to the stop, and window guy disembarks and just kind of waits for leg spreader to hit him. Leg spreader, upon realizing that this guy's not going to initiate, thereby forcing him to the aggressor, walks away and tries to get back on the bus. He succeeds for a moment, but then decides he needs to get the last word in and steps off the bus again. By then, the doors have closed, and leg spreader can't get back on the bus to whatever stop he needed. He sacrificed his commute just to pretend to beat up a guy who didn't explicitly say, excuse me, when asking him to move his big-ass legs out of the way. Everyone didn't clap, but there was definitely a collective sigh of relief that the problem had removed itself. Haru Hicks says, I hope he forgot something on the bus. Me too. Dimity Blue says, his dignity. Haru Hicks replies, you can't lose what you didn't have. Second top rated comment is from Calling Water, and they say, do you want to take this off the bus? Sure, that's where I'm trying to go anyway. Exactly. I'm low-key surprised that the dude from the window seat didn't get off and just keep walking. Maybe he didn't want to turn his back on someone so belligerent. True. Third top rated comment is symbolic. Amazing if he was sitting in the middle of the back row demanding tribute for anyone who wanted to exit. It seems he got the bus looking to pick a fight. People like him move through the world looking for respect just for existing. OP says, seriously, he knew that someone in that situation was bound to come up by blocking the row, and took any provocation he was offered. I wish this was less common. Yeah, I wish people would behave themselves too. Mildly infuriating. Newly installed coat hook in my office bathroom. Oh, that's it. There's a video. There's a newly installed coat hook. That's not fun. Bros of Dudeson says it's a top-rated comment. It says this comment section turned out to be way bleaker than I expected. OP says, yeah, holy crap, I didn't mean to bring everyone down. Aw, that's not on you. You just shared. Transcend says, dang, suicide prevention coat hook in the work bathroom. Not a good look when you think your employees will hang themselves in the bathroom. Too much waltz replies, 28-year-old kid gets a job. They're asked to buy coat hooks or install them. They go to Google, find the cheapest ones. Refurbished should be fine, right? That hook is $114. A brass hook would be like $3. Concerned according is the third top rated comment, and they say, how bad of a business do you work in? They had to swipe in ligature resistant materials to prevent suicide. LP says, I didn't even realize this was an anti-suicide hook. I didn't either. But my floor is a call center, so understandable. Oh, yeah, for sure. Next is, am I overreacting? And it is entitled, AIO for not wanting to sell my brother this couch. These texts between me and my dad, I have a side hustle where I buy and refurbish furniture, mainly couches. I make like $60,000 a year at my 9 to 5. My side business pays most of my bill. My brother makes over $200,000 a year. My parents combined make over $400K a year. The one I have for sale currently is $750, which I need for bills. My brother's asking for the couch for $100, and I said, no, I need it for bills. No. No. This is about to turn into a big family fight with my dad. I can already tell, but before I get there, what do you guys think? $750 is not bad for a couch, even a refurbished one. So let's look at the emails, I guess. Texts. Brother or dad. Okay, this is dad. You really need to reconsider your approach with regard to selling, and something that couch at a reasonable price would be like $300 or less. It would be a kind gesture, and it's your brother. Well, it's my brother, and he makes like almost twice as much money as I make. I'm considering it, but Dad, this is literally how I pay my bills. I also have a car sitting there that I'm trying to get back. I'm not in a position to lose $600 at the moment, but if I was doing better, then I would be considering it more. I pay $100 and put 5 hours in work into the couch. Yeah, why should he sell it? I don't get it. If I had a bunch of money right now to spare, I would, but I don't. I'm not saying no, but before all of you try to call me mean or selfish, remember this is literally how I pay my bills. I don't make a bunch of money like you all do. It's one freaking couch. And WTF are you talking about? Don't you come here at me. What? I never said any of that crap. What are you talking about? That entire response for you is BS. What are you talking about, dude? And the kid says, okay, we can talk when I get there. Is that it? That's it. Okay, it's only one. Okay. Oops. Sharing. Impossible Maze says, quote, this is my income. It is not up for a debate. I am not discussing it any further. Have a nice day. Unquote. LP says, I might have to say this to him and run out of the house. That's a great response. Somebody answers that NOR, the guy who makes $200,000 a year needs a few $100 to break from the sibling making $60K a year. Couch could just become $850, right? Yeah, up the price on the couch. That is the way. I would say $1,000. Second type rated comment is Topology Monster, and they say he's talking. The way he's talking to you is wild, and I would not put up with that crap. My dad has never talked to me like that, especially when I'm a grown adult. OP said he said much worse to me, but I'm pretty desensitized to it, unfortunately. This conversation actually very tame for him. Yikes! I don't realize it's bad until I tell others about it. That's sad. That's really sad. You need somebody in your corner. I can't figure out what their name is. Says, NOR, let them find their own winging couch. Ask for what you think it's worth. Don't lower it just because it's family. Exactly. And can you refurbish a couch for me? Because I need one. I'm in need of one right now. Next, we have Best of Redditor Updates. And it is entitled, Husband is Spoiling for the Saucy Scenes in My Romance Books by Acting Them Out Before I Get to Them. That's hysterical. I love it. This is originally from Two Hot Takes. Originally posted March 28th, 2026. And we don't do Two Hot Takes, so we have no issues reading this. I, 32 female, read a lot of romance novels, like 4 or 5 a month. Not the super smutty stuff, but more the Emily Henry type books with the illustrated cartoon covers, enemies to lovers tropes, that kind of thing. About 2 months ago, my husband of 11 years, 38 male, started acting a little different in the bedroom. Not bad different, just occasionally there's this vibe like he has something planned. That's good. Keep your sex life alive. Then a few days later, I'll be reading my book and hit a spicy scene and actually have to put my Kindle down because it's the same scene. Like the same vibe, the same movies, the same moves, occasionally almost the same setup. It's already happened 4 times. 4. I finally said something to my sister and she immediately started crying, laughing, which was not helpful. I would too. She thinks he's reading ahead in my books and essentially performing the scenes on with me before I get there as some kind of prank. But here's what I can't figure out. I read on my Kindle. He'd have to go into my account, figure out where I'm at in each book, and read ahead, and then coordinate. He's a big tech numbers guy, so if he's doing this, I guarantee you there's a spreadsheet involved somewhere. I had to read this one to my husband because they're really funny. I'm honestly not even mad. Genuinely, if this is what's happening, it might be the most unhinged romantic gesture anyone has ever done for me. But is he technically spoiling the books? No, he's not. It's fine. How do I tell him to stop spoiling the plot without accidentally telling him to stop being the most high effort partner I've ever had? Relevant comments. Wire heel. LOL, that's super sweet. It's like living the dream for him to be involved in your hobbies and what books you read. Maybe let him know gently, but he's a good egg in this current age. OOP says he really is 11 years out and he's still out there finding new ways to be surprising. I genuinely don't deserve him. Also, he's ruining my books. Either document says your husband is living in 2032 while the rest of us are still figuring out how to remember anniversaries. The spreadsheet thing has me absolutely dead. This man is out there project managing your romance novels like it's a quarterly business review. Maybe just ask him to mix some original content between the book recreations so you get some surprises. OOP, the quarterly business review got me. I won't be surprised if there's a tab for Q1 KPIS and I'm a line item. 2032 is right, though. Meanwhile, I'm just out here trying to read my books. Update March 30th, 2026, 2 days later. I want to start by saying thank you for all the comments. I've read them all. I want to clarify that I absolutely love my husband and I'm floored by his efforts on this. With that being said, I decided not to talk to him about it yet and to mess with him back instead. What I did instead was rush to finish my current book faster than usual. Left my Kindle open to an earlier chapter I'd already read in case he went to check what I was up to, and then make the spicy scene from that book happen IRL last night. Initiated it and went all in. Oscar worthy performance, honestly. If there's a spreadsheet tracking all of this, I definitely believe there is. It's about to get very confusing entry. We'll update when one of us cracks. Final update, April 2nd, 3 days later. If you read my original post or my last update, you know that my husband has been acting out the spicy scenes with me from whatever romance novel I was reading before I even read them. A few days ago, I set a trap for him. I read ahead and initiated a specific spicy scene with him for my current read before he could get to it. Nothing happened the next day, which I thought was weird, so I decided to escalate. This time, the bait was that I started to read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. If you've read it, you understand why I chose that book. While we're adventurous, there are certain things we don't usually do. I'm going to have to read this book, apparently. A couple of days ago, we were eating lunch, and we were both working from home, and he said, fully serious, if you really want to, you can. And when I asked him what the heck he was talking about, I finally broke. Turns out you were all right. He had access to my shared Kindle library and got this idea for a prank, but once he did it a few times, he got really invested. Good guy. Green flags for this guy, even though he's like creepy stalking his wife. That's awesome. Turns out he's going to stop spoiling my books, but we did come up with another arrangement, also thanks to the comments here. I'm going to give him a list of pre-approved spicy scenes, and he'll choose, in no specific order, which ones he wants to surprise me. Yes, there was a spreadsheet. Can relate. There's a spreadsheet. Chilling after movies for spice levels. A column for notes. Needs wine. Needs links to Spotify playlists, etc. Color coding. Multiple tabs. More organization than I was even expecting. It will be ongoing and is now shared so I can drop all in my own chili peppers and notes. After all this, I showed him my original post and the update. We listened to 2 hot takes together every week, so he knew exactly what he was looking for. By the end of reading the comments, we were both crying laughing. He doesn't have a Reddit account, but he's offered to answer my questions or DM your man with tips on how to be this level of iconic. We will respond to as many comments as we can. 11 years. I really should have seen this coming. Final comments. Make it or leave it. Make it or leave it, I think is what it's supposed to say. Sounds like he's a freak in the spreadsheets and in the bed sheets. OP, I showed him this and he says he feels seen. We need to save this link to this post so we can send it to every other relationship advice post where OP's partner refuses to do even the bare minimum of liking them. Exactly. Comparison other answers. Yeah, like the one who commented about still trying to remember anniversaries. It's called a calendar alert, bud. Princess Moonbutt says, honestly, when I was younger, I was the same way. I'd lose calendars and planners and such, so trying to keep track of birthdays and anniversaries was completely lost cause. Now Google just tracks it all for me. Yeah, there's probably some privacy junk that I should be concerned about, but I loaded all of my family friends' birthdays and told them to remind me 2 weeks out, 1 week in the morning of. Plenty of time to grab a gift if I want to, and a reminder that day to send them a message or give a call. Feels like cheating, but then I remind myself that that's basically how everyone did it for ages. I just finally had a planner / list I can't misplace. Second top rated comment is from Acceptable Box, and they say, I'm not sure what's cuter, acting out spicy scenes from her books or a spreadsheet. So my answers are spreadsheet, hands down. Educational Tangle says, quotes, I generally don't deserve him, and he is also ruining my books. And she says, needs to be Flair. Also, hubby is a champ. I love that he actually got invested in the books. Alaster says, I was thinking, yes, there was a spreadsheet. That'd be great, Flair. That would be my Flair. I would use that. Next is Made Me Smile. Oh, I gotta do all the things. Oops, I did too many of things. This little girl stopped in front of the window at a pizza parlor, and the employee plays a game of tic-tac-toe with her. Okay. Back. So here we go. And go. Yeah, I'm just out here. I get to remember this. Oh, he let her win. That's sweet. That is super sweet. Love it. Love it, love it. All right, that's all I got for the day. I'll be back tomorrow. I guess I can go in the afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow at 12. Maybe a little earlier. Maybe I'll do 11:30 tomorrow. I got grocery shopping, Not a lot. We have plenty right now. I don't know how, but we do. Thinking about going to eat today. Go to eat today. Oh, maybe. All right. Well, have a good day. Have a good evening. Sleep well. Take care. I love all you biddies. Bye. Oops, that's not it. Bye. Love you all. Bye.